And welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm your host, Justin Wells. With me, as always, is Eric Nolene. It's another scrimmage report. Let's just get straight to it. We hit it on Saturday. We got even more for you on Monday. The defense, that's what we're going to start with. They had the lead a little bit early on in this scrimmage on Saturday. Eric, what was the latest you heard from that side of the football?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit on Saturday from your good immediate reaction intel. We had the chance to go in a little bit more depth with sources in the hours since then, and the word is defense is ahead. You expect that. There's less choreography on defense. The offense takes a little bit more time to round into form, but it's clear that the defense is ahead. And what I'm liking most, and hopefully this isn't confirmation bias because it was the number one thing I was looking for throughout the offseason, was it sounds like team defense is way ahead of where it was last year as far as run fits from all three levels, just all three levels playing together. I'm hearing exactly what I want to hear. Now we got to keep hearing it for the rest of the scrimmages because we know that the offense is going to start catching up. But the story of the day on Saturday was defense. It's just not as sexy to talk about as the offense.
But defense to me is also it's one of those question marks people are wondering about from the D-line, from linebacker play, from back to the secondary. It's important. Quarterback play is uber important, not just for Sark, but for Texas fans. They performed well after kind of a slow start. What'd you hear on from the signal callers?
Yeah, well, it's important to cover that slow start because you want to guard against seeing that in the season. But yeah, clearly the defense was ahead early on in the scrimmage. I think to the point where Sark even started a couple series from scratch, started them over just because he wasn't liking the way it was flowing. There was a lot of dink and dunk to start off, and the defense was ahead. I think they were playing really tight man coverage, which I know is something fans want to hear. And there just wasn't a whole lot of operating room for the quarterbacks. Now in the second half, they started opening up, started going downfield, taking deeper shots, loosening the defense up, and that they did quite well in that portion. And they also did well in 2-minute drill. Now the defense wasn't giving up a lot of yards, but they were giving enough for Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers to drive down and get field goals. So 2-minute and a half scenarios, the offense sort of warmed up. Then in the second half, they started to make some deeper completions, I think loosened the defense up a little bit. Overall, the defense still won, but after a sluggish start, the quarterback started to bring it.
The biggest question, I think, coming into this fall with the receivers, not just the rotation, but it's getting the timing down with Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning and those quarterbacks. And that's something they worked about all through the spring and virtually every one of them, except for Silas Bolden. But to this point, they've seemed pretty reliable. I know there's been a couple that have had a few drops here and there, but from what we've been able to see and then what we were able to talk to the sources about, I think they're starting to round into shape. What's kind of the vibe there in that room?
Yeah, we had to check on Isaiah Bond because, he did have some drops in the spring. He's had some drops during offseason, but the receivers were very reliable on Saturday. One source said there was only one drop all day. He didn't say who it was from. But overall, the receivers were reliable. Matthew Golden was one that was named. I was told that he's a more athletic Jordan Whittington. Now, nobody will say he's the man that Jordan Whittington was, but they say he's more athletic as a receiver than Whittington. Another name we heard of, which we've heard a lot about, is Ryan Wingo. Him and Arch Manning connected at least 5 times, one on a downfield dot thrown between the cornerback and the safety that Wingo came down with. So it wasn't the loudest day that we've heard, which, again, that's a testament to the defense tightening up, playing good man coverage. But they were holding on to the ball and taking advantage of their opportunities.
You know who else takes advantage of their opportunities? Andre the lawyer. He'll take advantage of your opportunities. He'll take care of you. This video is brought to you by the man, Andre the lawyer. If you're injured, you got to trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury cases, from car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Do not let that insurance company tell you what your claim is worth. That's what Andre's for. Give him a call at 214-444-8808. His principal office is located in Dallas, but he helps Texans throughout the state. He's reliable. Get him. If you need him, he'll help you. Andre the lawyer, 214-444-8808. All right, Sark's starting to change up the formations a little bit. He's starting to get creative. We're starting to see a lot of the stuff implemented in late spring coming to bloom in early fall. What's kind of some of the empty seems to be one of those fun formations, if you would. I just imagine a lot of college football 25 when I see empty. I see a lot of verts. What's Sark kind of? What's the details there? What Sark's kind of using these varied formations?
We were hearing more about empty inside the 25-yard line when they're doing red zone work. It's funny. Throughout last season, Texas had one of the most condensed offenses as far as the outside guy lining up closest to the inside guy. Texas was right up there, I think, right behind the academies as far as condensed offenses. It's something that Nick Saban talked a lot about, how it's very hard to defend for secondary guys to pick up their guy. Now, inside the 25-yard line, it's already condensed. So it sounds like he's trying to make the field even bigger by going more empty. So on all the reps that we heard about inside the 25-yard line, Gunnar Helm was lined up out. The running backs were motioning out. So there was a lot of empty. Now, I wouldn't say they didn't really feast on the defense or anything. They did okay. I know it's a concern going back to last year. The red zone woes were one of the themes for the middle part of the season. But yeah, it looks like he's definitely trying to switch things up from going condensed between the 20s to a little bit more wide open inside the red zone. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
And it's going to be hell for defensive coordinators to figure out. And that's why Sark is one of the best at what he does. Running backs, big subject since last week with C.J. Baxter. There's been a few little hiccups here and there, but overall, we're starting to see some young guys really start to bloom. And it's from necessity. You lose a guy, the next man up type of mentality. And that's what you have with Trey Wisner, Jaden Blue, and all those guys. Kind of give me an overall, grade or overall view of their performance on Saturday. Notably, Jarrett Gibson.
Yeah, well, so Jaden Blue was on a pitch count. You're not going to be surprised with that after the losing Baxter. But he did look as explosive as ever. A source that saw him last year said, man, the guy just keeps getting more confident. Confidence grows by the day. Trey Wisner, heard some good things about him. He got a lot of carries. He might have kept the ball out of the other guy's hands a little bit. I expect to hear a little bit more about them. We did hear some things. I'll get to them in a second. But Wisner looked good, and he was probably the best in pass protection. He put one edge. I wasn't told who it was, but I was told he put an edge on his ass in pass pro. You like that. The guy's a firecracker back there, and a lot of pass protection is just being awareness. It's not necessarily size and all those other things. Awareness and want to, and he certainly has a lot of that. Gibson, you reported the other day at a 5-yard touchdown run inside the 5 that the guy runs behind his pads. He's a very, very mature, physically mature guy. Yeah. You like to hear that. Maybe that could be the red zone runner, the guy that has to move the tackles, move the offensive line. I think we're hearing everything we want to about him. Christian Clark, we've been high on him. He did have a little bit of a rough scrimmage. He's got to protect the ball better. They all got to protect the ball better. Last time we saw our running backs, they were a little too loose with the bread. But I think Christian Clark's got a very bright future. He's going to be the fourth man right now, it sounds like. But there's plenty of time. Overall, the offense, I should put this in there. A source was real bullish on the offense having a much better scrimmage a week from now. He kind of expected the defense to dominate that one. But a week from now, I'm really looking forward to covering what we're hearing about these running backs. We did hear that the gap schemes are looking a little bit better. The offensive linemen are getting those blocks a little bit more cohesive, on the same page, and creating some running lanes for their backs.
We got a couple guys that we want to do a little quick update on, get the latest. Mr. Williams and Mr. Campbell. Mr. Nalin, tell us what we need to know about these two characters.
Yeah, both have battled weight issues in the past. Even Campbell last year wasn't discussed all that much, but it's something we wrote about a few times. They wanted him to get a little slimmer. And, of course, Cam Williams, it's been well documented. They want him to get a little lighter on his feet. But both those guys are looking really good. The pressure that the defense was getting on the quarterbacks was not coming at the expense of Cameron Williams, which is what you want to hear because he's going up against some really quick guys. So his quickness is better than it was a year ago, and it already was really good for his size. But now that he's slimmer, a little bit lighter on his feet, and we're hearing the same thing about DJ Campbell. And we got to throw him in. It's not mentioned here, but Sadir Mitchell, we get asked about him every day. Sadir Mitchell is looking better. One source that saw him on Saturday says he thinks he's going to make some plays for this team this year. But I will caution fans. I say 2024 is about 2025 for him. But I do think that he will get it. Based on what we're hearing right now, we do expect him to play some this year.
And Sadir Mitchell, you got to have those goodies. And that's why you come to InsideTexas.com. It's for those nuggets and it's for all the good stuff. Come see us at InsideTexas.com. The best practice reports, the best recruiting updates. We'll take care of you, top to bottom. Also, come to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Help us climb to that 10,000 mark and get us to over the mountain. Eric, man, that was a busy Saturday. Lots of good stuff at Inside Texas over the last 48 hours. We're heading into week 3 of fall camp. 19 days until Texas football. 19 days. Whenever we get into the teens, that means it's getting real. Whenever I hear the teens, and those are the easy jersey numbers to find, that's when it's getting real. Appreciate you fans listening to us and watching us today, making us a part of your day. And thank you for joining us on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.